Okay, Zach, do you want to bring us in this time?
And say what? You s-
Welcome to the podcast. What
oh,
the fuck is
sure. All
that
right.
from?
Listen, I didn't know if like y'all had something in mind. Do that. All right, let's do it. Welcome back to Breakpoints, episode 2. As always, I'm joined by Taylor and Sam, and we have our special guest, Noah Beygelman. He's here with us tonight. I think, as I understand it, he just got done recording a different podcast, so there is no rest for the wicked. Noah, what's going on, man?
I don't appreciate you calling me wicked 5 seconds into the
We
podcast.
got to start hot, right? We got to get that retention rate early so we can keep the viewers interested.
Fair.
Last week he was going to off himself. Now he's bringing it
Now
up.
he's slinging disses in 30 seconds, dude. Yeah, I took a nice break to turn on my fan, cool down the room, fill up my water, get a nice 10:40 p.m. coffee, so I could stay nice and alert during this
right.
podcast. I'm ready to go.
So, question: are you gonna be able to sleep after the podcast, or like is that coffee gonna like keep you up wired all night?
I don't know. I feel like caffeine doesn't really affect me that
Okay,
much.
fair.
I just
Fair enough.
I like the taste of coffee. I just have coffee, and this isn't like the super heavy duty like giga caffeine version. It's like mint flavored. It's basically just
Oh,
dessert.
nice, cool. I like dessert. I'm here for that.
Yeah.
I'm here for dessert. All right. So before we talk about Noah's coffee for an hour and a half, and that's the whole episode, Sam has compiled some data for us around all of the nationals going on around the globe right now. And so I think we're going to spend a good chunk of time talking about the decks and like what's converting, what's doing well, what's winning, and stuff like that. Sam, take it away. Start us off, brother.
We have some pretty interesting stuff to start off with. Cindra is the winningest deck going in so far. 5 wins, 29 top 8 appearances overall. We're following that up with Verdance with 28 top 8 appearances and only 3 wins. Grady Bones with 25 and 4 wins. So the conversion rate isn't too different between these guys. The one that's kind of like coming out of nowhere, I guess, is that Slippy. He's got 13 top 8 appearances and 4 wins, which is kind of an insane conversion
I
in top
love
8.
that.
Yeah. So it's feeling like these aggro decks are kind of finding their window into this like heavily dominated like Verdance and Gravy meta that's kind of slowing everybody down. So it's been pretty cool.
So, I know I watched the AGE this weekend, and I saw round 1 of Noah Beygelman on Cindra.
Yeah.
And I see there's so many top 8s. Can you explain why you picked Cindra, and why maybe Cindra is in so many top 8s?
You just get to click the most buttons. Like you click the button 3 and then the button 4 and then the button 3 and then the button 4. You throw some flick in there too. It's just like every turn you're presenting damage and you're forcing your opponent to block, and blocking sucks. So when you make these decks have to block, I think like the only decks that really want to be blocking are like Earth decks, but you get around that by the fact that they don't really want to block with their whole hand usually. They only want to block with like 2 cards and then play like a 2-card hand back. On top of just feasting on the gravies, and like if people do block wrong or you have like combat tricks and stuff, you just can beat matchups that you shouldn't beat anyway. So yeah, I think it's just like it's relatively simple to play. I still definitely punted my game completely in round 2. I was so high after I'm nice. I beat this Ira, and then I play against Puffin. I'm like, okay, this is going to be a free event, playing like the Iras and the Puffins, and then I just get dumpstered immediately by forgetting to. I lost like 8 value from this misplay. I just like forgot to get a resource off my chest because Talishar.
Oh no!
It's so annoying. Every time you hit with a dagger, you're like no, and then I wasn't used to. There was no prompt that appeared in front of me, and I didn't have like the solo leveling screen pop up say like I want to accept my resource off the chest. So then I had to just like pitch my 1 for 5 to dagger at the poly when I could have like got a resource off the chest, thrown that at the poly, got another resource, thrown the 1 for 5. It was it was quite foolish. So I ended up doing well in round 1, and then I still finished 4-2, but you know how Fab works. It's like you're playing the tournament knowing that with a round 2 loss, you're kind of doomed.
Yeah. It was really funny too, because like I turn on my YouTube while I'm cleaning the house, and then you go on the stream, and I was like sitting there with my wife while she's helping me clean the house, and I was like, "You see that man? That man's on my podcast this weekend. That's how big of a deal this is." She's like, "Really?" I'm like, "Oh yeah, see the interview? Yeah, that guy."
Oh, dude, I love doing the interviews. I wish I mean, they do it at like the major events, like, Nats Plus
Yeah.
level. But it's like, it's kind of cool knowing that, like, all right, I'm super motivated to win this match. I get to do like my little interview after, talk about all these cool plays, get hyped up by Bryce, dude. He's like the ultimate wingman. It's great.
Bryce is pretty awesome. I feel like Bryce does an excellent job with the coverage. Bryce and Michael. I love Michael Murray as well. I feel like they both do an excellent job, and the interviews are really cool.
Yeah.
So,
So
okay, if we don't have a natural talking point, I have a question for Noah that I want to follow up on. As someone,
I thought you were coming back to the call.
As someone who has played a lot of Cindra over the last, 2 to 3 months, like trying to prep for events and things like that, do you feel like there is this window where you win games against players who don't understand how to block Cindra, and then you start maybe not winning as many games because people understand how to block Cindra at a higher level? Like, kind of talk about that a little bit.
I think if you look at the like quote unquote good players, right? People who like know, theoretically know how to block. Most of them are just like playing gravy now, so they don't really have much of a choice. So it's kind of like if you're playing a mirror match, it doesn't really matter knowing how to block, not knowing how to block. Most of your hands are just like abundantly more value on offense, right? And then looking at the other good players, I think most of them are going to be on gravy where you can't block that much. And I think Prism as well is like a deck that people play. We didn't mention that one earlier, but similar win rate to Verdance with 3 wins. A lot of people play that deck. That deck can usually only block with 1 to 2 cards, and if a Prism is blocking, their turn is significantly worse. So I think it's kind of like a good timing, like good window now where a lot of the decks that you're facing can't really block that well, even if they in a vacuum know how to block you.
Fair enough. No, that makes sense. Taylor, go ahead. Transition us.
I was going to transition over to gravy again. I want to talk about that beast of a deck.
Go ahead, dude. Let's talk about it.
Like if we're looking at like the week 1, we were still getting the janky list, and then I think the Canadians started to refine the list, and then we saw Hamilton take down the Battle Hardened Houston this week with I think 0 whalers and a more aggressive slanted gravy. Are we thinking that the more aggressive slanted gravy lists are going to take over this week's Nats, or are we going to go back to the whalers?
I think to a degree they kind of have to if they want to actually keep up with the Cindras and Slippies of the meta. The deck is kind of like warped to a degree where like you have to have these 3 power attacks so you can clear in the mirrors, all these like saltwater spells for 1 and stuff that don't actually clear allies. The solid ones on the board have become like a sort of a trap sometimes. And actually being able to keep up rate wise has become a little bit more difficult with a deck like Cindra if you don't run more of these red attacks. But the deck is like so flexible. I think Cody actually did a great job of touching on this on the Runaways podcast last week of like how great the toolbox is for Gray to kind of iterate itself into a way for a specific meta. If you were to not have, say, Cindra be at the very top, I think it's possible you tool it towards a more slower meta where you don't see these very aggressive lists, and the Humper Predicts are way better, but seeing Hamilton win the mirror match, albeit an hour and 40 minutes of a grind, kind of sold me on the idea a lot more that maybe Humper Predict just isn't even necessary for the slow matchups, and something I've been looking into myself.
So I think to kind of like backpack off of like both what Noah and Sam said, I kind of feel like I'm in the opposite boat of Noah when it comes to Cindra, and I feel like I made that very known last week. But I feel like because of the new, more aggressive, version of Gravy Bones and like the way they're playing, I think they're able to adapt to this aggressive Cindra list and, say, okay, like I'm going to take a turn off and just like give you mask if you're going to throw 3 cards at some allies, trying to like clear the board and slow it down a little bit. And it's just going to like, I think it like snowballs a little bit. And so like, I definitely don't think Noah was saying what I'm about to say, but I think the people that think that Gravy is free for Cindra, I don't think that's a good opinion. And no, I'm not saying you were saying that, but I just,
no, I think
people who say that, I'm like, okay, you spend too much time on Twitter. Like you need to play the matchup and be quiet.
Yeah. If you actually, at the AGE, the guy who won, Josh, was playing Cindra, and in Swiss, some history. The day before, Fino and I were like testing for the AGE. He was playing Gravy, I was playing Cindra. We were just like our games were like an hour and a half long because we were just like going over every single possible, just like hydraing, from both POVs.
Yeah.
And yeah, we like found a decent amount of avenues for Gravy to take down the match. And yeah, the Fino beat Josh in the Swiss. Josh ended up winning the event on Cindra anyway, so he's clearly like a good Cindra player. And yeah, and he lost to Fino on Gravy, and Fino's a bit of a noob on the deck still. So yeah, I think there's definitely a lot of tools that Gravy has. Primarily, we saw, I think, in two of the lists, both Arthur's and the guy that won New Zealand Nats, I think we're both playing Red Fiddler's Green. I don't think Hamilton was playing that. But yeah, I think that's a really interesting tech card for these aggro matchups where it's worth 4 if you just have to block with it, but ideally you hit it off the top with the Blood on the Water, you Gravy hero ability, discard it, and just like keep up your health total, because I think the most powerful play that any, illusionist necromancer style deck can do is just present lethal and have a thing on the board. And then it's like, what are you supposed to do as the opponent, right? So yeah, turboing to that game state as fast as possible with all these big numbers is like, if you take the damage from a Conqueror and a Swell and like a Sloop in a turn, that's like almost half your life total, It's a lot of damage.
Mm-hmm. So I also want to talk about Slippy. We talked about the insane top 8 conversion to wins. What are y'all's thoughts on what's causing that in the current meta and in Nat's season?
I think Slippy is just getting more refined and being played more widely. I know, Taylor, you were a truther back in the day at Memphis, trying to play him in a meta where it was certainly a decision that you can make.
Oh, dog, look, round 1, dude, I was like feeling so good for that tournament, and then literally round 2, 3, and 4 are Mario, and I was just like, this is the worst experience ever. And they were like the actual like stealth Marios, not like the dagger Marios. Dude, guy, it was the most miserable tournament I've ever played in. I got my 1 round on stream. I had a great time, and then I left at round 4 to my 10-hour drive back home. But I just kept rewinding the stream game as I'm driving home. I'm just like, I did it. It was a good game.
So that's definitely one element then, right? Is like Mario representation is like relatively small. Slippy mirror match is certainly more playable than Slippy versus Mario.
Yeah.
New being gone also helps a fair bit because that matchup has a lot of equity for New getting just like auto go again. Shouldn't have to work for it.
Isn't like another piece of this, I feel like from a personal like testing perspective, is that like Slippy has a good matchup into Cindra, and I think it's favored, and so we're seeing a lot of Cindra representation at these bigger tournaments. So I think that we're really adding a piece of like the aggro decks that are also like beating up on like Gravy or even the Verdants, like like we transition to like Slippy beats up on them. So if Slippy is like getting those good pairings and runs into those Cindras in top 8, then I think there's a very good chance that they're at least making top 4, and that's probably why we're seeing such a good win percentage to like top 8 conversion percentage. At least that's the key piece of it.
Yep. And I think Slippy is definitely a lot easier to play into Gravy than Mario is. So for all the people who are there's some people who just play classes, right? Like the people who play Assassin, I think they're just more naturally going to be playing Slippy now because it's much easier to deal with like the Chum, Sawbones, Humperdinck type cards. I know Michael didn't win with Humperdinck, but I think that was still the predominant build over the weekend across the world.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Slippy just has an easier time kind of manipulating his numbers and not having to rely on hitting a hero to have go again.
Yeah, the amount of times that you're playing the Gravy Mario matchup and they send Chalicera and then they hit undo immediately because they realize that they don't have go again anymore.
Yeah. I think also in general, like it's nice to have an assassin into board state deck be semi-balanced in the fact that you have the choice of just like going face. You don't have to deal with like ward on the board. I think that's definitely like you draw a hand of like Bonds, double Justin Nick, and like Razor's Edge or something. You're like, all right, no snag, please, Lord. Send the thing at face, and then it's like delete most of their life total. You don't have to worry about any of the board state if they have 0 life total.
This thing's such like it's so much worse of a card now because all these like dagger Marios are going around where it doesn't affect them at all. It's like hits like some of the deck, some of the time, so you have to draw it at the right time for it to even be impactful. So I feel like people are really down on snag in the current meta game. It doesn't do exactly what you want it to. Although it's kind of funny if you do it to like a felling sometimes, but
it's so good. They're like plow. Like, no, chums. Like,
Yep.
It's pretty hilarious
Yeah,
when that happens, but
yeah, getting to protect your ally is definitely a crazy interaction, especially against the Earth decks. But I think the biggest like problem with Snag and what makes like Slippy good too is that the numbers don't line up like well with D-reacts. Often when you're D-reacting Slippy, you're like overblocking. It's kind of like he was Mario, because if they play a 3 and buff it by 3, it's not like we don't play yellow staunch, you know? There's no like clean way of just like blocking 6 like that. Like you're usually spending a 3 block and then giving a D-react, because it's like if you just put a 2 block armor in front of it, they're like, cool, I'll just do my react on the next thing. You can't really like trick them.
yeah.
So we just talked about Slippy and his like positive win conversion percentage, and like, you know, how well he's winning versus like top 8. And, you know, before we got in here, you know, Sam was telling me about Victor's.
oh, you read my
so
mind.
Victor is on the other end of the spectrum. You know, we're going to talk about this for a friend. It's not like we know anybody here who's playing Victor in Singapore. But if we did, why do you guys think there is such like a bad winning percentage to top 8 percentage? And just to clarify for everybody watching this, Victor has won 0. I'm pretty sure Sam said 1-0 off of like
Yes, he's won 0
8 top
nats.
8s.
He's been to 10
Yeah.
topics.
So why do you guys think there is such a bad win conversion rate there?
So I think you have a lot of problems in the what I will call the 2 main defining decks right now in Verdance and Gravy. Those matchups are, I think on the Verdance nearly unwinnable. On Gravy it's winnable, but it's hard. I think you do well into Cindra, which is nice, but I think Slippy actually has a lot of game into Victor. Not having a bunch of D-reacts is very problematic for
Very
the
much
matchup.
agree.
It can be kind of hard to actually keep like a hand, especially if you draw one of those like awkward hands where you're kind of mana screwed a little bit, to actually like block correctly and still have something to present back. Because if you just send hammer for 4, they're like sick. I'll take it all day, and then come at you again with some, you know, ridiculous hand. So if you're gonna hold like 3 cards to throw a Spinal Crush, it's like, what are we doing here? It's not great. And then, like Noah mentioned, one of the other good decks that's converting pretty well is Prism, and I don't think Prism is even that good of a matchup right now, especially with the printing of Secum. That card's honestly pretty messed up, and gives them a lot of equity. Where like before you had to have soul generation through like Merciful or randomly hitting in one time with a Herald, but being able to get that guaranteed soul generation through a game is extremely good, especially in like not soul generation that's like soul shield, but soul generation that actively puts a herald in the soul and rips a figment out of the deck.
I completely agree.
Yeah, do you want me to give you feedback that makes you feel better about yourself for bringing Victor
Here
to
we
Singapore,
go.
or do you want me to give
No,
you
no,
feedback?
please be honest with us.
Oh, give it all,
I
give it
mean,
all.
you know, like
I think the other problem with Victor too is that even when you play into matchups that like should be good in theory, right? Like Cindra should be good in theory, but I found that like you mentioned, Sam, you want to be throwing like Spinal Crushes, you want to be doing like CNC pummels. All these are 3-card plays, which means if you're not blocking with a Clash card, you're probably giving them the mask in order to actually do this play. So you're gambling a lot that you're going to be able to chain the disruptions. Because what's stopping the Cindra from, okay, you threw the Spinal, I'll block with 3 cards, I'll set a card pass. Show me you can do it again. Okay, you did it again. All right, I'll block, I'll pass. Now you've drawn your block cards, and then now I have my window to actually play the game. And if you ever want to get back into the cycle, you could do it like twice with equipment. You have like 2 fridges worth of equipment, kind of, to just like, okay, this is the hand I'm keeping. So you just are really reliant, I found, on seeing, because the game is like 7-8 turns usually. You're really reliant on seeing the Clash cards early enough to just keep up the hand advantage, as well as being able to generate gold to be able to play the funny, you know, make 10 billion mites, laugh at your opponent as you draw a card, gold main estate.
laugh at your opponent while you draw a
so yeah,
card
so
is the important part of this text.
Yeah, so, and I think another deck, just looking at more top decks, is like Dash.io too, right? It's a similar thing where it's like, from the Dash.io POV in a vacuum, like I don't want to play into Victor, but I can also just go boom and boom you, because you're you have to keep so many cards to effectively play. I don't know. It just feels like Guardian needs a reinvention to be actually like a playable hero. Jarl has like his Earth gimmick where he can play with 2-card hands more often with like the decompose style Jarl, but even that seems like a little bit dubious. So yeah,
Yeah,
best of luck to you. And But
No, I
yeah.
I actually think you really nailed it. Completely honestly, because all the people I talk to, they're like, oh, you have a great Cinder matchup, and I'm like, great feels like a stretch. I'm like a favored Cinder matchup, sure. But is it fantastic? No, absolutely not. And I feel the same way about Dash.io. Because it's like, do I win that game majority of the time? Sure. But also the games where it's like, oh, here's Max B and I have a boom grenade in play. I lose those games. And that's just how it goes. So yeah, I completely agree with your take.
Yeah, you were talking about specific cards to cut, I think, yesterday at the end of your stream, where you were saying the most cuttable card in your deck was Crush the Week. And I felt like that was completely not the case. I feel like if you actually want to maintain a good matchup into Slippy and Cindra, you have to have that density of on hits. I actually thought Sink Below was way more cuttable.
So
that's just
my gut told me the
exact
same thing you just said. And that was the first thing I said when I was talking with everybody about this. I was like, I think Sink Below is the first card to go here. I was like, it hurts other matchups. It hurts Azalea, and it does hurt some specific matchups. But I think that Crush the Week is a necessary piece, because forcing Assassins to block and forcing Cinder to block is where you have to be. If you're letting
and it's the only real 2-card hand.
100%.
Exactly. The fact that it's a 2-card hand is so important.
That or has to be Tunic Chokeslam or something like that. But yeah, most of the time that is your only consistent 2-card play that you can make and reliably get away with. Yeah, I agree. So I have cut Crush the Week from the deck for testing purposes today, but I have not played against any of those matchups yet. So we're gonna see how it goes over the next week or two.
The first time we played in real life, Taylor, you were playing Victor, right?
Oh my god, dude!
I was playing Bravo.
God, dude, that was such a banger DM. 2 weeks later, dude, that was such a good one. So we play a game. I don't know who he is. He doesn't know who I am. We play our game.
Oh, I know who you are. Come on.
Oh,
I do my research.
Oh, at the top.
Oh, you gas him up.
So he looks over and he gives me a puzzled look, and we play our game. He stomps me. I'm not very good at the Guardian Mirror, so I tell myself. And he stomps me. About a week later, maybe a week and a half, I get a message from him, and he goes, "Hey, I think we played at Hartford. I saw that you had a cold foil tech plating, but a white border Anathos. What's up with that?" He's like, "Did you
this
lose?"
man had the Omega Bling? And I was like, okay, maybe you lost your cold foil Anathos or something? You had to go get a token from the vendor? What happened?
No, it's the only one I had. It's all I got.
The disrespect of that message is wild.
And it was a banger too, because I remember reading, I was like, this guy, I don't know who this guy fucking is. I was like, what the hell is he talking about? I was like, whatever, man. And then I think no more than maybe 2 months later, I played you in Aggro Blaze's tournament. And I remember, dude, it was so funny because I saw your name pop up when we get paired, and I was like, oh dude, this is the guy that beat me and then insulted my Anathos. And then we actually played our game. And in the middle of the game, he goes, well, why did you mask the pouncing links there? And I was like, what do you mean? He goes, that was 7 value. What are you doing? I was like, what is this guy talking about, dude? I'm mid-game. I was like, oh my god, he's playing in my head. It's I don't know. Dude, it was a banger too, because I actually go back and watch that game. I'm like, why did I not links there?
Oh my, there you go.
Dude, I was
what you're doing at midnight, dude? Just going back, thinking, oh,
dude,
I remember when I cooked them with Katsu.
It lives in my head. I quad bond you. Oh yeah,
it was
the finals
18
was you.
links wide.
Yeah, and then the finals was Sam, which was just an insane. It was just this whole fucking podcast was the tournament.
Do remember that actually. When Sam beat you in the final, yeah.
Dude, I was so tilted.
I parked at that all you got, and you ancestral and breaking scales, and I popped that all you got on Arsenal.
Dude, I was so tilted. I think Zach watched 2 or 3 of my games before that, and each game I quad bonds just every single game.
Yeah.
It was the nuttiest series of games I've ever played, and then I'm gonna win this tournament. I'm probably gonna win LA. It's gonna be a great couple weeks for me. I was feeling insane. Dude, and then I got paired in that game, and I was like, I don't want to even bring this deck anymore. Hey, can you send me the Victor list? It looked great.
So
Thanks.
I do remember that because I remember the first like that Talishar tournament that I had. I remember the first game I had you on camera on like turn 3. You literally hit somebody with like 3 or 4 bonds on like turn 3 or some nonsense, and
Dude,
I was like, I can't watch this all day. I
oh,
was like, this is ridiculous. I was like, we'll be done in an hour if this is like the games we're playing all day. I was like, this is crazy.
the deck was cracked. Oh god, I miss Art of War Bonds Katsu. Oh,
Yeah, you helped me out though, because I was playing KO, and I registered, I think 3, maybe it was just 2, but there was certainly a number of amnesias on my deck list for PTLA. I was not about to get stomped by Katsu again.
oh man, dude, yeah, that's so funny that whole entire series of tournament was in this podcast.
Mhm.
Oh, but Katsu did win a nationals though, and I want to talk about that for a second. I just want to
Are you
glance
trolling
at
or are you being for real?
Okay.
No, he did.
No.
He did.
Wow.
Yeah, he
Where?
won, yeah.
Hold on, I can tell you.
Vietnam.
Okay.
Yeah, there it is. Vietnam.
Yeah, I saw
Were
the
you gonna
list.
judge? Wait. Is that
Oh,
that positive or negative that it's Vietnam?
Sorry, to all Vietnam.
Listen,
viewers.
I'm not throwing shade at any country, okay? But like, let's just say that like, depending on how many people were at your tournament and like, you know, how many rounds there were, it's like I definitely weigh how much what won each event. 100%.
I think it was in the neighborhood of 20 people, if I recall
I
correctly.
mean, I'm telling you, I got to get out of the United States.
I
dude.
love armories. Any
I
dude.
saw 5 even bigger than that's in the list.
dude, he was cooking. I saw the list. I was like, this guy, he's better than me. That's all that matters. Dude, it was dope. Like I remember watching it on stream because there's a stream of it, and it's like the round 1. He's playing against Burdens. He wins the game, and then he just pops up in the finals. I was like, this guy's got the juice. I've actually never also seen someone play even bigger than that, and then attack, and then in response to the attack, even bigger than that. I was like, dude, double quicken on a turn. I was like, this guy was just like, it was sick.
Wow, he's going even further beyond. That's crazy.
So
That's one of my favorite cards. I want to just play like, I don't know, my balls are too small, I think, to like play a deck where my blue base contains even bigger than that. Because like, surely there'll be an attack in the top 2 cards of my deck, you know? Like, I just play it, I opt if it's not an attack. It's like Victor style, you know? Like, surely there'll just be an attack on top when I clash. I can bottom once and then I'll hit the attack.
Let me tell you from experience, brother. Let me tell you from experience.
I think it was like maybe the 4th or 5th armory I ever went to. I play against his dash, and he starts with an induction chamber, and I didn't know what the hell was happening. He's like, chamber you, and I was like, take 2. He goes, even bigger than that? I was like, what? What's happening here? Dude, he like hit CNC with go again. I was like, dude, it blew
I
my
do
mind.
remember when that deck was like floating around for a while because it was really funny to see.
Yeah, I was like,
Wow, I had no idea
There's
this was
some
a
boomer
mechanic
deck
that existed.
stuff.
oh yeah, dude, this is like old. This is no boost dash, but like it wasn't like a full pistol plan. It was like E strikes and scars. It was, dude, it was sick. I remember like
Maybe that's
yellow
what-
even bigger than that. I'm like,
That's what we need for Dash to cross the finish line. We got to go back to the roots and play yellow even
Oh,
bigger than
man.
that. Generic.
Oh,
Dash.
I'll go to America, workshop this idea with him. We'll see what he says.
also, I want to talk about Azalea a little bit because she's really struggling to LL. Like I don't know if there's like a pact in the finals or in the top 8, and they just want to play it in Singapore or what's happening there. I just like, what are your thoughts on Azalea? She has 14 top 8s, but 1 win.
Are they video recorded, these Azalea top 8 matches? Because it could be true. Maybe they had to like take down the VODs because Azalea's like, oh, blind flip. All right, I whiffed. Pass.
That's what I like. I have to assume that some amount of these people want to go to Singapore because, and there's like, I ain't doing it. It's like, she only needs what, 2 or 3 more wins at a smaller NAS than she's LL'd. Is that correct? Or
Yeah, something like that.
It's
I was
pretty
like,
close
it's not
to
a,
that,
it's
yeah.
not a lot of points. I know that.
yeah, crazy stuff. Let's see, Marlon top 8. It's pretty interesting. So I want to talk about WrestleMania
Yeah.
25.
Azalea's at 946, so a little more than
946.
just a couple.
Okay, that's fine. I want to talk a little bit about SummerSlam or Super Slam.
Hot
Okay, I
Garden
wrote-
Which one is
Summer.
Super.
It's a WWE.
Which one is the joke and which one's the real name? I'm surely going to call it the wrong name so many
It's
times.
Super Slam is the actual set name.
Super
Yes,
Slam
that is
is
the real
Okay,
name. I
cool.
swear to God.
I'm notorious for not knowing the names of
Would you all like to know some fun facts about the set that you probably already know?
Probably
There
already know.
are
Might as well-
0 weapons in the set, which I think is absolutely phenomenal.
0 weapons in
great.
limited or like in general?
Yeah.
No,
It-
there's not a single playable weapon in the base 14 cards of the pack.
Yep.
Yep.
Well, I heavily
I
dislike this. Why would
love
they
it.
do this to us?
Wait. Did you not know that, or is this like a genuine reaction? I can't tell.
No, I assumed there would be like weapons for CC. I just thought they would be like in expansion slots, like the fabled gravy weapon. You know, like we would get it somewhere else, surely.
Yeah, I think they'll be in the expansion slots, but like for draft purposes,
Yeah,
there will be
Oh,
no
for limited,
weapons.
I think it's fantastic. But I like having more weapon diversity in CC. Like most heroes, it's pretty obvious. Like you just play this weapon. Like occasionally they do cool stuff. Like they print the claw for Cindra. That's like a huge power boost. Like they literally print 1 card, and it makes a huge difference in like a lot of her matchup spreads. So I think they should just print more weapons and like allow us to actually have more options. Like Guardian is really the only class where you have to actually think about what weapon you're doing. Right? Are you doing Redwood Hammer Jarl? Are you doing Summit? Are you playing Anathos Sledge? Like you actually have real diversity, but.
I feel
guess
like that's just the
maybe the
illusion of
copium
choice,
is
to be
that.
honest.
Facts, Sam.
Yeah, I guess
Facts.
Fair. I think, there's some copium too on Edge of Autumn being a playable CC card. But
Whoa.
for right now, I feel like we're kind of at an all-time low for weapon diversity.
Get him,
So when are we
Taylor.
supposed to see Iris spoilers? Are we like going to like open the box and know what's in there, or like is it like an actual spoiler season? Like,
They've been doing this more and more with the
Bastards.
armory decks, where they're like dropping it like right before.
I don't like it.
Like
No,
after
no.
the stories have already ordered
Gravy-
and stuff we were covering last week.
literally, Gravy's cards were spoiled by some guy opening up the armory deck, taking a picture, and putting it on
Yeah.
Discord.
To be
You know how
fair,
it-
I feel like part of that was due to the full like high seas release coming out at the same time. They want to like spoil the high seas cards that are coming out, so it's open at world premiere. So I feel like I give a little bit more leeway on that one, but in general, yeah, I think they're doing it too late.
We have such nice content creators. Why not give them the product as opposed to people with potatoes for cameras, and then we have to like decipher the 2 pixels to figure out what cards do.
All right, especially with, like
Give you so much.
like you see people like Mansant posting these like huge videos for the spoiler card that are like really involved in like a great production, or like the claymation one that he did a little while back, just like crazy awesome videos for card spoilers. I love seeing that stuff, so I'm all over that idea.
Lizard
Yep.
back in. Aggro, you look really excited about SummerSlam. Let's
You
talk
guys
about it.
have no like earthly idea how excited I am about like Super Slam WrestleMania 2025. Like it's awesome. Like I don't even know where to start. I mean, first off, Victor's evil brother, like come on, bro. Like absolutely
The
And his
amazing.
diabolical,
yes.
they didn't give him a pony.
I mean,
I'm so
Wait,
big
upset
fact.
he doesn't have a pony.
Yes.
Have you seen the young art?
Oh, it's so sick.
No,
actually.
I've not seen
The young art is like
What?
there's a lion. Wait,
Hold
I'll
on.
send it to you.
Please do.
Oh,
Wait, is he
Yes.
riding a lion?
Or Taylor, maybe you can send it.
Yeah, I gotcha.
Yeah, he's like pouring wine into a lion's mouth. Oh, it's
Yo,
super
that's
sick.
awesome.
Okay, I
The young art is
recant
way better
everything
than
I've
the
said.
old art.
If he's like riding
Yeah.
a lion, I'm on it. I'm in there.
Okay, hold on. I'm sending it
I
to
was
you,
like,
too.
please, somebody send this to me.
He's not. Yeah,
Okay.
he's not riding it, but he's in a throne and he's pouring wine into the lion's mouth, and the lion's mouth is like half the size of him.
Give it 1 second for some apparent reason. This picture
That's
is
sick.
it's 50 megabytes.
Oh, nice.
I don't know why I have a 50 megabyte.
So it's loading. I mean, and yeah, so like we'll come back to this when the picture comes back through. But the fact that
Yeah.
like we're getting, to my knowledge, the first 5 intellect hero ever, I think is really cool. Like personally, I love that they're not experimenting with the life totals in this set. They're experimenting with the intellect properties. And so that's really cool. And we're also getting the second 3 intellect hero. It's just Data Ball and now Tuffnut, or I don't know.
It's so
Like
dope.
it's really cool, and I love it. And the
Yeah.
fact that like they're leaning into the
whole-
pitching cards off the top of the deck again is really cool, especially with 3 intellect. So I don't know, like this whole set has me super excited. I'm very glad they didn't go back to light and shadow. I was very worried they were going to do that when I saw the cards originally, but the like reviled or whatever versus like revered. I mean, I'm telling you, I'll probably buy 4 cases of this set. Like, I'm so excited. Yeah, I'm pumped for this set.
Hopefully they got the product for you coming in.
Hopefully.
Okay.
It does look really dope. This art is awesome.
Holy shit, that is baller as fuck. Dude, he is so short.
Yep.
That is wild.
Finally,
That's the comment that
Yo,
follows. This is baller as fuck.
It's awesome, but like, look at that. I mean, like, did they have Taylor like size for the picture? What happened?
Oh.
Oh. finally
short
some
king, dude,
representation.
literally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great. Now I got to cosplay.
Right. You cosplay him, I'll cosplay Betsy.
Fucking please. I'll buy you all the costumes. Do it, I swear.
Hold on,
Oh
let
my
me
God.
get in touch with Diana, see if I can get some help.
I do like how on the nose the heroes are to Game of Thrones. It's like Victor, I was like, they're kind of, but this one they're just like, yeah, okay.
They definitely like
He
fully
doesn't have to
leaned
say it
into
anymore. All right. So I was like, look at the cards. Tuffnut looks really cool with the 3 intellect and the pitching off the top. I know I hear a lot of people keep talking about Rock. I don't think Rock's remotely playable, but we'll have to see if that's
Wait,
true
why
or
not?
Well, because let's say I have 3 blues in my hand and all my deck is all blues.
Okay.
If my opponent goes 4, I have to block 9 to swing Rock, and that just seems really inefficient. Or
But
Bravo,
what is your opponent doing with their other cards?
I don't know, they blocked Rock.
But then you just fatigue them.
Oh.
7 damage
I
on a
feel
weapon,
like-
dude? That's bigger than Sledge. Where'd their deck go?
So I feel like there's 2 problems with this. First off, I think if you're running 60 blues and they do this like set up and come back kind of strategy where they like strand blues so you can actually swing the weapon, you're like just like IPing yourself on some garbage blue card every turn that they do that. I feel like you're gonna get overrun pretty easily by the decks that have like any semblance of a combo built in with like Dio or Cindra. I think another problem is when I'm hearing people float around the idea of like not even an all blue deck, but like a majority blue deck where you're running, say, 40 blues. So on average, you're going to hit 2 out of 3 times off the random flip off the top for the Rock. Your average turn cycle value over the course of like a 9-turn game turns into like 11.6, I think, which is like just terrible math. It sounds great, like turn to turn, you're doing like this 16 value, but if you have to actually hit every time. So I don't really see a deck where you can include 0 red cards that's working, or the inverse where you're running 20, maybe 10. 10 is a little bit closer. It's at 13.3, which is like fine rate, but you're still doing worse numbers than most of the decks that are good in Fab.
No, I agree.
I think we should reserve judgment. They could give
Oh,
Brute
for
good
sure.
blues. I think
Like-
Brute has been the drought for Brute to get playable blue cards. I think they could do it.
I mean, all this is saying that, they could play anything they want in the set and things could be bonkers, but with what I have right now, I don't see it being a good strategy. So,
I also just, as a general rule, get super hype about every new hero. I just love when they have new cards. So, yeah, I'm sure in like a week or 2, I'll be right there with you saying he's unplayable. But for now, I'm still hype. I'm maintaining my excitement.
You're holding it in. So let's talk about a 5 intellect guardian, because I see Zach over there just vibing to this. So what are your early thoughts, Zach,
All right.
on
Stick with me for a second.
Tiny Victor?
because, yes, Tiny Victor. I think Tiny Victor is going to be an aggro hero. I've already seen people immediately saying like fatigue and blocking and like all of this stuff. And don't get me wrong, the whole like liar's charm thing, like I think is what it's called, like where you like turn off your hero ability and
Yes.
you block very efficiently, is awesome. And I love that. But I'm also a big fan of like trying to utilize that card to like, throw something like pulverize or something really, really powerful. To like
Pulverize for 7?
no, turning off your hero ability. So like you liar's charm.
Wait, you could do
Yeah,
it
it
to
says
yourself?
target hero.
yeah, you can. It says target
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
hero. It does not
Yeah,
specify
dude.
others. Yeah, that card is really
I
cool.
mean,
Wait,
Noah
I had
might
no
as well
idea.
say he doesn't watch the videos I post. It's cool. It's cool. It's cool. It's cool.
Yeah, it came out
when
like
did you
3
post
hours
it?
ago, so I think we'll get
is it
full
even live
notification.
now?
He was in the middle of the
Dude.
podcast. He was in the middle of the
Okay.
podcast. He's not
I'm
gonna go,
sorry. I didn't realize jokes were illegal. Oh my God. Everybody relax.
Whoa,
Jesus.
whoa.
I'm gonna have to turn my fan on. Good Lord. Anyway, but yeah, I think that like tiny evil little Victor here, like little Nikki, I think is gonna be really like an aggro deck. I think that's what we're looking at.
Dude, you've totally blown my mind that you could just turn off your own hero power.
Dude,
Sorry.
liars,
I'm
like
tripping
it's
about
really
this.
cool,
How-
right?
how-
So like the liar's charm effect is awesome.
How do we make like a? We have to make like a crouching tiger in our hand. I don't want to actually discard a card, right? Or wait, no. Oh,
You
I don't have to
don't want to
Yeah,
discard.
you don't
I
have to
literally just
yeah,
lose
yeah.
my hero
play
power.
and turn it on.
Well,
Yeah.
I guess I discarded liar's charm, right? Like I played a card for nothing.
Yeah.
But who cares?
But you're
But you're
fucking
gonna
override.
you're gonna
That's
arsenal
great.
it. You're gonna set up like a big hand, and then you're gonna play it during your turn to turn off your hero ability, and then you're just gonna go ham.
OP.
So
Well,
I
also-
don't necessarily think he's going to be an aggro deck, more of like this aura kind of combo centric kind of guardian. I think that's kind of the other way you can take this
Okay.
list so far, where you've got 5 cards, you can now play the big auras way easier than the other guardians. Like Towering Titan is such a huge ask for other
Mhm.
heroes, and this one not nearly as big a deal. The math works out way easier where you draw 3 blues every turn. I think that is probably the direction they want to push this guy, where he, on the turns you want to set up, you can do the thing where you have your Rampart and you pay 2, and now all your cards block for 3 still, and you've got the Rampart, so you block pretty decently, and then you like play out this big aura. And like the following turn,
only works on guardian cards though, right? So you can't like use it on a generic attack action.
yes, you can't like throw it on CNC, but you could throw it on like a thump. So, I think there are like a lot of like kind of applications for stuff like that with a big hand guardian. I think it's probably the other direction. The thing that kind of concerns me with how the deck reads so far, with the very limited knowledge that we have, is a lot of their cards say when you are up on life, you get this extra effect. And if you're doing either of these styles, I feel like it's really hard to like fulfill that aspect of the card text, at least like in a reasonable manner.
So Sam, you said that earlier, and I thought I misheard you. Did I misread the cards?
It's half and half. If you're like the good people, then you want to have less life. If you're the villains,
Yes.
you want to have more life.
Interesting. Okay, so I did read some of those wrong. I think Mike Scar for Scar just took over my brain, and I was like, "Oh my God! Like you just want less life than these decks?" I was like, "This is insane." I was like, "This is crazy."
Oh yeah, the other way, I totally see where you're coming
Exactly.
from. That would be
Yeah.
bonkers.
For sure. Okay.
It's really easy to be losing.
Exactly. Noah gets it.
Yeah.
Noah gets
I always have less life than them.
it. See, that's really interesting because that changes the whole dynamic. And like, I know I'm kind of late to this party, but like having to be ahead on life, like that changes things a lot because you really have to like look at how you're manipulating your deck and how you're using that hero ability consistently to try and stay ahead on life. So that's super interesting. Man, I'm back to the
Okay.
drawing board.
I got a
I think
tinfoil
it's
hat.
also like even more compromised because it's all cards that you control. If I, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe that guy says all cards you control have their defense values halved, rounded up. So that means all of your equipment blocked for 1 now, which is
Yeah, you got no fridge.
Yeah,
catastrophic.
it does say you control
for that kind of
very
style.
specifically. I noticed that as well.
Yeah, that's like super bad for the Guardian Fridge. So like I feel like they're probably gonna print something that changes that. I don't know exactly what it'll be, but we'll see.
So I have a tinfoil hat, and I know I'm the cynical one out of us right now. When I saw this card, my first thought was like, this is why CYB was actually banned. It wasn't the time restriction. It was a 5
Yeah.
intellect hero where I
Yeah.
can gain life. I can draw 3 sigils, 7 count your blessings, Fiddler's Green. I was like, dude, this is just like, this was like my first,
And it
like,
would-
instantly. I was like, oh my God.
It would curve really well too, because the ability costs 2. So you draw 2 CYBs, you just activate your hero ability, done.
Yep. Fiddler's Green will certainly be a staple anyway, right? You're getting 4 value out of that card.
Yeah, no matter what, it's just like, yeah, that was my first instant take. I was like, oh, okay, this is why CYB is banned, and I know when I'm playing at Worlds in the Living Legend.
I'm gonna,
Your
I'm
ass,
gonna
man.
need a copy of that deck list, please, for your boy, just one time.
It's okay. Last time I brought CYB to an LL tournament. It didn't go so well, so it's fine. Hey, no, I saw that.
Whatever,
So,
man.
LL is such an enigma of a format as
It's
this.
just a
Already. Who
tournament.
knows what's going to happen?
so how about KO with the craziest hero ability I think we've had?
Okay,
Before,
so what? Yeah. Okay, go ahead. You can read it off. Read it off. Go ahead.
yeah, instant 4 resources tap, target attack action card you control has a base of 6. Whenever a crowd boos you, create a vigor token, which I assume will probably go into his hero ability.
Yeah,
Was
so
it?
the sentiment from Dan and Cody and them was that this card, like this hero is unplayably terrible. Do y'all agree?
I'm inclined to agree with that at the moment. You can do some really like dumb things, like you can put Vitbox in your deck and now it's 6.
Let me
But
tell you about all the value I'm going to get when I hit you with a 6-power mischievous Meeps one turn. Man, let me tell you, y'all are cooked. Y'all are cooked.
So if I had like a 5-card hand, I could go Vipox, Razor Reflex, buff it, and then pummel it.
How are you pummeling it?
you can't pummel it; it doesn't cost that much.
Oh wait, dang it,
Vipox
that's
is
how
zero
that works.
cost.
I'm a
Yeah, you can
shit
raise your
gamer. Is what I
pummel
am,
card.
dog. I'm a
Yeah.
shit gamer.
Yeah. Editor, take this
It's like
part
take out the fifth
out.
card,
Don't expose
take out the
Taylor.
pummel, and throw
That's a
in a
good thing. I'm the
Nimbulism.
editor, baby.
Yeah, if you see a weird cut there, you know Taylor said something very simple.
I'll just cut that too. It's so easy.
Oh
Holy
no,
shit.
I'm owned. I have to make a comment every 2 minutes in the episode now, so that way you can't cut them all out. I prey on your laziness. Okay, but anyways, the whole starting the game with 1 weapon zone, but you don't have the buff of being able to make your wild rides and pulpings like always hit. I feel like that was kind of the lit part about having resource discounts in Brute, like having a tunic or having the Savage Sash. And like now we have vigor tokens, so we have like ways of discounting and theoretically having good curves like that. But then they just made it such that you have to be like a super gambler, or you just can't play the game in that style with the draw discard effects.
So
Yeah,
I'm
I
also
don't see. You're just playing bad Rhinar if you're doing that deck. It feels
Yeah.
like I don't see a reason to
I'm
do that at the
also
moment.
more inclined to wait till we get full set before I make an actual evaluation, because like if you look at heroes like Marlin or Fang or something, where like 95% of the cards in the deck are just from the set itself and they are functional decks. Okay, maybe not Marlin, but Fang and Cindra. So I'm trying to like be impartial to these heroes that read like dog shit, because like I know that they have like 275 cards that they can boast their card pool on, and also the fact that the way that they've designed the last 3 sets have been very isolated within themselves. It's felt like, like I outside of Rosetta touching Viserai and Vincent, I don't feel like Phi was actually upgraded as much as we originally expected from the Hunted, and so forth and so on, with like OG Arachne from the Hunted also. So that's why I'm trying to be impartial, that it will all pretty much be self-enclosed into the set itself. So it might read like dog shit, but there's gonna be cards that play within its within KO's card pool that is now talented, that is just gonna work and be effective.
I think also like the whole boo mechanic, giving you vigor tokens, because the fact it's like not a once per turn. If you're able to make multiple vigor tokens, you're kind of playing on like intellect 5, right? Like you just have the ability to throw 2-cost attacks for free, throw your weapon for 3 damage for free off of no cards if you made 2 vigor tokens. So I think like if we get a lot of like the boo support, I feel like it's Monsters Inc. He's like the snake dude, like trying to rack up the boo meter as high as possible.
Randall.
But yeah, I think
anyway.
Randall, thank you. I don't know card names. I don't know cartoon character
One of my
names.
favorite
man.
animated
I'm
movies
useless.
of all
Sorry.
time.
There you go. Yeah, so get your booze on.
I don't necessarily disagree with all that. I just think that 4 resources is like a really, really steep cost. So there's gonna have to be like some like seismic eruption type card that makes vigors for you or something like that makes this make more sense. But
Yeah,
right now,
yeah.
I'm
The
not
last
seeing it,
card,
but I'm not saying it's not gonna be there.
the last card we saw that was 4 resources and a tap wasn't that good, so you're probably right. So now we talked about booing. Let's talk a little bit about cheering. How about Tuffnut? Like, I want to talk a little bit about where the design space of that's going. You know, like as we see with the new card, Crowd Goes Wild. I think that card's probably going to be insane. If not, I'll be very surprised. A possible 0 for 6, possible. Block 3 though, so high ceiling. What's everyone's thoughts on the Tuffnut right now? Outside of the funny rock memes. Initial impressions, is he going to be viable come day one, like Gravy or Bang?
So the whole pitch of random card on the top of your deck is, I guess, supposed to make up for the 3 intellect, but I feel like it's just worse in all aspects. Like, the rock thing is the only thing that makes it, like, marginally reasonable right now that we know of. But just RNG, I hope my turn works off the top every turn is not where you want to be.
Yeah, I think like having a unreliable way to plan out your turn doesn't seem like a good deck for a tournament, in my opinion. But there's also the archetype I was just thinking of right now, where like you could literally play like wasn't this a thing in like Welcome to Wraith Limited, where you just played like yellows to throw Romping Club? We actually have a 2-handed brute now, so like you could play like the Meat Axe, the one that mills a card off the top of your deck and potentially comes in for 5. So it's like less than the 7 off of rock, but you have more consistency in the ability to like hit either a yellow or a blue and potentially be doing 5. And actually proccing the crowd cheers effect, because my assumption is that usually interacting with the gimmicks of the heroes of like the whenever you're booing or cheering will end up being pretty core to the main deck cards. So I think, yeah, like this one being able to, for the cost of sacking a card in hand every single round, always trigger a crowd cheers effect based on your deck building seems potentially powerful if there's enough synergy in the main deck.
And then I want to talk a little bit about the Last Guardian.
Well, wait, what do you think? What do you think the toughness token does? You have to make these wild predictions so that everybody can come back and check the video and see how wrong you were.
Okay,
I feel like
so
if it's not add +1 block value the next time you defend, I'll be shook.
okay, I'm gonna go even more exact than that. I think a toughness token is gonna be a +1 defense value for the turn on attack actions. So it's gonna be like the attack action version of an embodiment of Earth.
Oh, that'd be so
See if you're gonna
insane,
last the
actually.
whole turn like that. It won't just pop on the first one. Because that seems pretty OP if it
That
affects
sounds
all.
insane.
Well, I mean, he has 3 intellect, so he has to like garner the defensive value somehow.
And you think he'll be the only one that can make these toughness
Yeah.
tokens? We don't have other ways of doing it.
Nope, not as of right now. No.
Okay.
I think
yeah,
it-
so that
I
could
think
be
it-
a balancing way.
Yeah, just block
Wait,
5
no,
with 1
no,
card.
that's wrong. That's wrong. There's the promo. Dig in. It's a 3 for 7 that says when it defends, you can pay up to 3 and make that many toughness. Okay, there's no way.
Oh yeah, never mind.
Yeah,
Yeah, there's no way.
Never
That's
mind.
way
There's
too
no
insane.
Maybe
for
it's the
12
first
on
time.
block.
Maybe it's the first time.
Yeah, I feel like it's probably the first time. That would be my
Oh, yeah,
guess.
'cause
Is the inverse of might for the most part.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that's just so less exciting than I
But
had.
but if it's inverse of might, would it pop at like the start of your opponent's turn or something maybe?
that'd be cute though.
Yeah,
Because then this dig in card is a little bit more weird where if you're making them on your opponent's turn, then your opponent's like, okay, well, I'll just block you next turn and not attack because then you like wasted your toughness. I could see that as like an interesting balancing mechanic.
We'll
Also,
talk a little bit about Pleiades.
wait, sorry, I have to say one more thing. Do we have a hard cap on how long this podcast goes, or can I just
No.
ramble for longer?
oh,
You
you're
just-
good.
Okay. How is this gonna play in limited, bro? All we've talked about is what to do with your weapon. What do you do when you ain't got no weapon? You only got 3 cards. You do like block with 1 card every turn? Is that the most you could block with, or just like YOLO?
Yeah, you just pray. Oh, that sounds brutal.
Like surely there has to be a solution for how this hero works in draft.
So
No?
I think like leaning
No,
on what
there's-
Noah said,
There's only 3 draftable heroes.
the toughness token is what's gonna like make the hero come together in draft specifically, and that's why I think it makes the most sense that it says the next time you block with X, like you block for 1 more, because you're able to kind of like, block for 5 on something and like get a lot of value that way and then still have a 2-card hand. I mean, it's the most logical option, but every time I guess something about it, like a token or what something does, I'm always wrong. So we'll see.
You think we'll see any comeback to the wager mechanic in this set?
Please, dear God, no.
No chance. I think they're totally done with that one. Because I think wager was kind of just like a thing for limited anyway. They didn't really want to make it into CC, so why would they do it again?
There's like
Or Olympia and Betsy, Jesus. Like, we are going to have a 7 Guardian CC. Like, yeah, that's insane. And they're all garbage. That's insane.
Yeah, it's going to be 20% of playable heroes.
Except for Victor in Singapore specifically, Zach. Except for Victor.
Thanks, buddy. Thanks, buddy. I appreciate it.
Yeah. Sorry, I had a thing there.
It's not about the cards in your deck. It's about the way you use them.
Oh, God.
I don't think that makes me feel any better, but thanks, man. I appreciate it.
That was great.
Okay, we can finally move on to Pleiades now. I've cut you off often enough, Taylor. Go ahead.
No, it's okay. I like it. It's still less than Vero. It's fine. So I will talk a little bit about Pleiades.
Okay, wait. I have to say one more thing.
Oh my God!
Yes,
we got
yes.
Jesus
I feel
Christ!
like playing into the bit was good. No, I made you
No,
think
no,
I
it
was
was great.
going
It was
to actually
great.
let you talk.
That was good.
You thought I was going to let you talk? No, we got to get a counter going in the comments of how many calories Taylor burns off of moving his hands every episode. Like, it's got to be in the hundreds. The man cannot say a word without moving his hands.
I'm gonna be so self-conscious of this now.
It doesn't mean you can stop, though.
No, you got to play into it now. You got to go even harder.
No, dude, I can't stop. Oh man, I'm getting all red faced. I'm like staring at myself in the. I was like, oh, what am I doing?
No. All right, here. When I took public speaking classes in high school, long time ago, in questionable teaching, one of the signs of a natural-born great speaker was using your hands to kind of like articulate your words better. So maybe it's a good thing.
Taylor. That's what you needed, man.
Oh, I derive great joy from it. I just also like making fun of you for it.
Buddy, articulation is not something that I'm known for. Okay, I'm just kind of like gonna sound like, thanks though. I'm over here with like a little like trying to figure out how to say the Guardian's name, like oh God.
It's like
Dude, you gotta listen to the video. Did you watch the like 2 minutes?
The trailer's great if you haven't seen it. It's actually really good.
Well, yeah, no, I had to watch it because I'm driving home and I looked down at my car's like little like messages for Discord and it's like 9+, and I was like, what the hell happened while I was driving? It must be really good. So I was like, I'm sitting in my car. I have like 7 messages from like 8 people. It's like, hey, dude, have you seen it? Have you seen it? Have you seen it? I'm like, nope.
Yep.
We also have not seen the word suspend yet, right? So
we have. That's actually a good segue.
I'm just building up for the final showdown. I will say 0 words. You may proceed.
I don't want to even talk with my hands up. This is awful. Okay, I'll talk about Pleiades Superstar.
It ruined them.
Hands are glued to the table for this hero.
Your hands are on the air guitar. Oh, I said words. I'm sorry. Please.
Oh my God. Instant tap, remove a suspense counter from an aura you control. You may put a suspense counter on an aura of suspense you control. Whenever a crowd cheers for you, create a confidence token. What's a confidence token?
You wouldn't know anything about it.
Hey.
I'm kidding.
Boom, roasted.
It came to one. We also roasted Lucas for saying that he just starts the game with confidence tokens on the board. For sure, no matter the hero he's playing.
Lucas is him, of course.
Yeah, confidence is like crazy to me. Like I have no idea what that could possibly be. That would be the closest thing I think to like a wager. Just like conceptually thinking about what that would be, but I feel like we've kind of exhausted, unless it's like bonus intellect. But surely there's no way that you just get more intellect from cheering. So yeah, I have
that'd be kind of crazy, right?
No ideas what it could be.
I think it's the intellect. I know it's crazy and I'm probably wrong, but like that's the thing that stands out in my head, like is that it's intellect. And so I think all of Pleiades cards are gonna Pleiades nuts because they're gonna be so bad. So that's my take, is that she gets intellect and all of her cards are like dog water.
So they wanted to
Okay.
bring Bard to CC, and this is the best way.
Exactly. Bard and Guardian, unplayable, except to Singapore, right, Taylor?
Except for Singapore.
So
If
what's
you top it-
interesting? Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
No. You go.
Well, I was going to talk more about the actual hero, but I felt like you were lining up for a nice roast.
No. I'm just gonna skip my tangent. You go.
Okay. I've time walked you. Just something interesting about the text. Like maybe I'm reading into it too much, but you're removing a suspense counter from any aura, and then you're putting a suspense counter on an aura of suspense, not just any aura. So I'm curious if there will be like the auras that come in that are not technically auras of suspense, and then you'll have to play these separate different auras that are actually auras of suspense that only get their ability when you've like done the mini game of putting the using your hero power to put the suspense counter on it.
Or maybe they like tick down and start a turn, and you like want to keep them around for an extra turn, something like that. I can see too.
Well, I was thinking about the tick down mechanic kind of doesn't make sense because you're removing one to put one. So if they tick down, then like when would you ever use your hero power?
So like if you put out like, I don't know, 3 auras, and then once per turn you move one onto an aura that's like more impactful. Just kind of like
Oh, I see.
increase the
So you're
life.
thinking you're just like spamming these auras. You're going crazy.
I think it's possible. I don't really have another good idea of what it could be.
So I have a little bit of what I think is a hot take about this situation. I don't think that the actual auras have suspense on them or like do anything with them. I think we're going to get a specific like light, whatever the hell it's called, revered guardian equipment that is going to let you use suspense with auras so that you can like quote unquote like suspend them and use them that way. I don't think it's actually going to be on the cards. I think we're going to get more guardian auras, but I think we're going to get equipment that allows us to use that. I'm talking with my hands extra for Taylor just in case.
Like,
Nice.
you think
Hands
it's
are
kind
on
of
the
like
table.
an extra like mechanic where these guys are on board, you slap a suspense counter on them and they don't pop at the start of the turn. You can kind of control when they come off. Is that kind of your idea?
I don't think it's necessarily controlling when they come off. I guess like it would be controlled by like the hero ability, but the idea would be like that your arm piece says pay 1 and your next aura has suspense, or something like that. That would probably require them to make some like 2 cost auras in that sense, and I don't really know how that works in with Guardian. But like, yeah, my take is that it's gonna be like functional around a piece of equipment that we're gonna use.
Lord knows Guardian needs another temper 2 arms with an effect.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Maybe there'll be legs
yeah,
this time. Be blessed.
Yeah, that would be cool. I think surely we get some like guitar. Like, I don't know. I'm still hung up on the topic from an hour ago about no weapon, man. Like, you telling me I don't get to rock up to my tournament with that guitar? I have to play a hammer with this hero? Like, surely that's a need. Is the guitar going to be like a Fable promo only?
It's got to be an expansion slot, is what I think. They put all of the weapons for this set for these specific heroes in the expansion slot.
It's
And we
actually in the
probably
treasure
won't get one
packs.
for KO, where KO is still going to have Mandible Claw, and then the other 3 will have like their signature weapons in like kind of like Thunder's Quake.
But you were talking before about like the LSS potentially thinking that KO, what's the current one? Armed and Dangerous? Tell me that's the name. Oh, nailed it. Okay. KO Armed and Dangerous was already going to hit LL, in which case Mandible Claw wouldn't be legal. So like, there's a chance they designed this hero not around Mandible Claw.
I think it's
And,
entirely
like,
reasonable, but they could also be doing
Yeah.
like the Kasai thing again, where they just like bring it back.
Oh, true. Oh, that's so lazy. I hate when they do that.
What are you talking about, dude? That's so much fun.
It's so much fun to not have anything new when you have a new set.
Hey, I have
You
these,
really like when you get a new set and you're like, yo, check out this new Ranger, Marlin. She's gonna be awesome. We're gonna get all these go again arrows. You're gonna get to go wide. Okay, here's Sick'em Shot. Have a nice day. It's like, what is that? Give me some new cards. Salvage Shot again? Like, I really hope they don't do that again.
over and
I think
under
Salvage
right
Shot
now.
was like a really good call for limited, but yeah, I hear what you're saying.
Okay. Over and under right now. Let's say Wild Ride is in the set red only.
Why would they ever do that?
Didn't you just say
That's what
they
they've
did
been
that? That's like what
They've
What
been
is taking the over mean?
But if they're gonna reprint something, it surely won't be Wild Ride, bro. Come on. Like neither of these heroes have any synergy with Wild Ride.
That's why I like it.
Yeah,
If
that's
over
pretty
means
nice.
yes,
I
fucking
agree with
slam it. Put me down for $20 on over.
Yeah. Oh, wait. You're asking for a wager on this? Yeah, I'll wager that they do not do that.
$5.
Yeah, we could shake on it right here. We have a routine $5
Does that
bets.
count as Taylor talking with his hands?
Oh, that's
No,
dirty.
I said I enjoyed when he did it.
Hand
I just
counter goes
wanted to
up.
point it out. I wanted people to notice the beauty. It's really like engaging, you know? I'm fixated.
Do you think that the new gold main hero is going to play Nimby? Or do you think that'd be like a little too on the cuff?
All I'm saying is they printed that new immovable arm for a reason, brother.
Okay.
I mean, it's base power, right?
Interesting.
So, like, something like Nimbleism could actually be really cool in, like, a deck like that with, like, some other stuff. I'm here for it, yeah. I'm here for it.
Belittle
You're
gold
definitely
main?
gonna have to find ways of buffing your attacks with non-attacks to get around the
Well,
restriction.
and
That's why
Because, like,
the
even-
Horus made so much sense.
there's also already cards in the set that, like, are leaning into that effect. Like, some of the cards that we saw today are, like, 0 for 1 or whatever. And then if you've been booed, they get +4 or something like that. So I think we'll see a lot of cards like that from the set that lean into the cheering and booing mechanic and being buffed and things like that. Or, like, the 0 for 3 that intimidates cards, which is fucking nuts, by the way, in case, like, I think that card's insane.
You think that
yes.
card's good?
Okay.
Like in CC
Oh,
or
and limited. I'm sorry.
I could see it being
Okay.
because it's a majestic, so it's like not.
Yeah,
a real
no,
card.
I mean, like, and like,
limited.
well, I mean, I don't think we're probably gonna play that card in CC, but like in limited, slam it, take it.
yeah, for
that
sure.
card's definitely getting played.
Think
in CC.
so?
Yeah.
A 0 for 2,
A 0 for
a
3.
0 for 2, unless you're playing.
Well,
Yeah,
depending
well,
on the hero, right?
You got
can
a
play it in
50-50
Kayos.
shot of it being a 0 for 2, so sure. Since the only thing I'm gonna play is
Fair.
since we're playing Lyat or Hyatt or whatever his name is, that card's like a 0 for 2 that like potentially intimidates 3 times. I just like how?
Because you're paying a whole card for Intimidate. Like Reinar pays whole cards for Intimidate when he goes like Agile Windup, but at least he gets an Agility. Here you're like paying cards for Intimidate that are like of dubious value. I don't know. It's not a Guardian card. It doesn't get buffed with a Guardian.
I agree.
Auras.
Like
I
for
guess you could
example,
go triple Nimbleism and then you have 5 intellect, so you go like triple Nimbleism, bully tactics, intimidate you 3 times. That sounds.
I was
pretty
like,
hot.
yeah, I'm in for this. Sign me up.
Just like
Yeah,
how
well,
do you
say-
draw a hand like that? What do you do next turn? You got no more
Nimby
Nimbleism.
Guardian. I'm in. Let's go.
Just every turn you keep remembering back your Nimbleisms and then hopefully searching them
Sounds
again.
so toxic. I'm here for it.
I
You
guess
can play
it's
Remembrance
weird.
for free in this hero. You got an extra intellect to do nothing with.
Is it a Guardian attack?
No, it's reviled.
So it's just reviled. Okay, so you can't do all.
Dude,
like,
Sam was
the
about to
Guardian
like
aura buffs.
break the game. I saw the
Yeah, I was like, hold on.
tournament. My blue
These are
towering
some
type
really
is
dumb
real.
things. Yeah, it'd be a crazy game ender if you could do that kind of stuff.
Man,
You almost talked me into it.
I'm gonna have so much editing to do tomorrow. I'm gonna see if I can edit these hands out of my portrait.
Good stuff. I literally said it was a fun way to engage with the community. I was trying to frame it as a good thing. You're the one who took it as negative. It was purely positive, man.
Oh man, are you going to Montreal?
I live like a 4-hour drive away, so yeah. I'm actually
Okay.
driving up with Pierre, Vero, and Jason.
Oh, I remember about
So-
this. Yeah,
That should be fun.
yeah. Because what was it? Was it Nathan that was saying no one could fit in the car with Pierre? He's being very rude.
Oh my god!
Yeah, he's got the big Tesla. It's roomy.
Last time I rode in Vero's Tesla, if I remember. Wait, are you riding in Pierre or Vero's?
I'm
It's
referring to
Pierre's
Pierre's
Tesla.
Tesla. I didn't realize it
Yeah,
was
yeah.
Team Sigil had like their, requirement to be on the team is you
Yeah,
have to
dude.
have a Tesla.
I think it was
Says
actually
something about their
Hartford.
team dynamics.
Yeah, because it was Hartford. We went
Anyways.
out to Korean barbecue, and we had Eugene with us, and I never met Eugene. And he goes, "I'm tired." I was like, "Okay," and he just puts his head on my shoulder and just falls asleep. I was like, "Okay, this is nice." It's like
Wow,
the goat.
that's a baller move.
Okay, I think it's a good time to start wrapping it up, boys.
Okay, sure.
All right. Well,
Yep, this is it.
Our,
Just cut the episode after that. Like, just cut it off after that. Say nothing else.